In this lesson, I will be discussing how to open and save AutoCAD drawings, as well as some strategies for working with multiple drawings at the same time. The first thing I want to discuss is how do you create a new blank drawing. This is not really covered in the textbook. Typically, you start with an existing file. So to create a new blank drawing, just like you get when you first open up AutoCAD, you can go to the New button up in your Quick Access toolbar. And the thing about AutoCAD is it doesn't just automatically give you a new blank drawing. You have to tell it which template you want to begin with. And by default, AutoCAD will jump to the templates folder, which is a predefined layout of where that folder is going to be. So you shouldn't have to ever browse for that. And the ACAD.dwt, or you might just see ACAD, is the blank AutoCAD template drawing that we begin with. So I'll either double click on it or choose it and then click the Open button. And I've got a new blank drawing. One of the things I want to point out about this is I didn't actually open up the template. So when I go to New, I'll show you this one more time, it's looking for drawing template files, .dwts. And it takes that template and it creates a new drawing file, a DWG, based off of it. So when I look at my tab right up here, it's called Drawing 2. It's not called acad.dwt. So I've got a new blank drawing based upon an existing template. The next thing I want to look at is some of the different types of saves that we have in AutoCAD. Saving sounds like a pretty simple complex, but there are actually several different types of saves in AutoCAD. The first save that I want to look at is known as a quick save, but before I can use it, I need to have something I can actually save. So let's talk about opening files. To open a file, you can either go to the Open folder on the Quick Access toolbar. You can also click on the AutoCAD A, which is known as the application browser, and you can choose Open from there as well. You can also use the Control-O keyboard shortcut if you like that. When you go to the Open dialog box, typically this will jump to the last location that you opened from. So mine already went to my class folder, but if it doesn't go where you're looking for, you can either use one of the shortcuts down the left side. This is called the Places list. Or you can click your drop-down list up top and browse to your location. For example, the class files will install on the C drive, so you can go to the local disk C and find your AutoCAD 2015 Fundamentals class files folder, or whichever version you might be using, and double-click to get inside there. Then I can go ahead and just choose a drawing file. I'm going to go with Bank A and open that one up. So if you're in a drawing that has already been saved, then anytime you make any changes and you just want to go ahead and update and have the newest version saved, all you've got to do is come up here and click the little floppy disk button for save. This is known as a quick save. In fact, when I hold my mouse over the button, you'll actually see the tooltip pop up with the shortcut Q save is what you would actually type in at the command line. So with a quick save, it just goes back to the same location and uses the same file name. Really, it looks like not much happens, except it actually goes into the command line to save what I've done. Now, if you're in a new blank drawing, for example, this drawing 2 that I was in earlier, that was the one that I created based off of the ACAD template. When I go to hit save the first time, it doesn't actually do a quick save, it does a save as. Why does that happen? Well, quick save always saves back to the same file name and the same location. When I created that new drawing based on that template, I never gave it a location. I never gave it a name. So the very first time you save a new drawing, you have to give it a location and a name. So let's say that I want this to go into my class folder, and I will just call this very simply saving. And I'll click save, and now you can see that that is the file name. And from now on, if I want to draw something on my screen and escape to cancel and then click on my quick save, now it just goes back to the same location and the same name. It doesn't bring up the save as dialog box anymore. There are other reasons, however, that I might want to use the save as command, and we'll discuss a few of those here. The first reason why I might want to do that is to save as a different file type. So let's say that I'm on this Bank A drawing again, and I want to save it to a different file type. I'm going to go up and use my Save As, which is right next to the Quick Save. And very similar to what I just had, it wants to give wants to know where I want to put this and what I want to call it. But as I mentioned, one of the reasons why I might want to do this is to change the file type. So if I click the drop down for the drawings, you can see that I'm saving it as an AutoCAD drawing, which is a .dwg. Now currently I'm using AutoCAD 2015, and this is showing that it's being saved as an AutoCAD 2013 drawing. Well, AutoCAD updates the drawing file every 3 years or so, as you can see from these previous numbers. And even though they're all .dwg files, it's important to note that an older version of AutoCAD cannot open up a newer file format. So for example, let's say that I'm collaborating with somebody that's using AutoCAD 2012, and I want to save my file and email it to them. Well, when I do so, they're not going to be able to open it, because by default mine's saving as a 2013 drawing. So quite simply, I would just want to go ahead and come in here and choose an earlier version, and then I will denote this by putting in the version number afterwards and save it. So I've now created a copy, and I'm in that copy that's saved to the 2010 format. Another reason that you might want to do a save as is for a completely different file type. So you'll see in the drop down DXF. This stands for Drawing Exchange File. This is commonly used in CNC machines, maybe some laser cutters. And the drawing exchange file is just simply a drawing type that can be used between different applications. Another reason that you might want to do a save as is just in case you want to go back to an earlier version. For example, let's say that I'm working on this building right here, this bank, and I want to make some pretty dramatic changes. But I'm not 100% sure that I'm going to stick with those changes. So what I might do then is go ahead and save what it looks like currently, and then do a save as. And I'm going to give it a different name. Let's say I call this one Bank A Proposed. Then I'm going to make some crazy changes. Let's just say I'm proposing that I'm getting rid of a lot of this stuff over here on the right side of the building. And then let's say that I work with this a little bit, and then I discover, you know what, that was a bad idea. I need to have those teller desks back, and I need to have this room back over here. I certainly don't want to redraw it. And so the quickest way is, since I know that I've saved an earlier copy, I can just go back and reopen that earlier copy, in this case, Bank A 2010, and I can see that information is back. So again, a few reasons for save as. You want to change the file type. You want to use something else like a DXF file that you can exchange with other applications, and then maybe to create a copy in case you decide to do something a little different. Now, if you've worked with any computer applications such as a Microsoft Office, Word, Excel, something like that, those two concepts are probably not new to you. Saving and doing a save as is similar in other programs. One thing AutoCAD has that some of those other programs don't, though, is a backup file. So the idea with a backup file is my current file, let's say it gets corrupted. I try to open it, there's an error, I can't get to it. Then what I can do is I can try for my backup copy. Before I look at the backup copy, I want to show you where the backup comes from. I'm going to right click on my screen and go to Options, and then I'm going to the Open and Save tab. And in the Open and Save tab, I can see there's a checkbox here to create a backup copy with each save. So that's turned on by default. Every time I hit save, it's keeping the one previous version. Unfortunately, you can't really change how many earlier versions it keeps. It always keeps the previous save on hand. And it saves it as a BAK file. So let me show you how the backup copy works. I'm going to go back to this drawing that I created earlier called Saving by clicking on its tab. And this one I just have the one line drawn. The only thing I want you to take note of is if you look at these little tabs, you can see some of them have a little star or an asterisk behind the text. That is an indication that something has changed since you've been in this drawing. So if I draw another line in here, for example, as soon as I escape out of that, I have a star up here to indicate that something has changed and I need to save this file. So as soon as I click save, that star goes away. Now, one thing I will point out, if you change the view by zooming or panning, it brings a star up, which is kind of misleading because really the data hasn't changed at all. So I don't necessarily have to save the newest change, but again, I can certainly do so. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to draw a circle and see that my newest version has this circle, and I want to go and take a look through Windows Explorer or my computer and take a look at exactly what's happening with these save files. So I'm opening up my computer through my Start menu, and I'm going to browse to this class folder. So there's my C drive and my class folders. And I was in a drawing called Saving, so I'm going to scroll down to find it. And if you take a look at what's in here, I've got the saving.dwg, and you can see that I saved this at 5:18 p.m. And then I've got the saving.bak, which I had saved a minute previous. So I want to make sure that my saving file is up to date. So I'm going to come back here to AutoCAD real quick and save this because I haven't saved it since I drew this circle in. Now if I go back to my computer and I click on the saving drawing, I can see in my Windows Explorer preview the circle is a part of the drawing. So let's say, again, for the sake of argument, I tried to open it, it won't open, the file has become corrupt. All I need to do is rename this saving.bak file. So I'm going to right click on it and choose rename. I'm going to change the file extension from BAK to DWG. Now the problem now is I can't have two files in the same directory with the same name, so I'm going to call this one saving2 and press enter. Windows asks me, are you sure you want to change the file extension? I will click yes. And then I don't even have to open the file for you to see. You can see the preview here is the previous save. So saving has the newest information, saving2 has the information from the previous save. Now one of the things the firm that I used to work for would do, our policy was we click save twice. So at the end of the day, I click save 2 times. That way my backup file always matches my newest version. And so if my newest version somehow became corrupt, then when I recover my backup file, there's no lost information. It looks just like the other one. Another thing I want to point out too, that files that you'll see are DWL files. These stand for drawing lock, and all that means is that you're currently in that drawing. So for example, I'm unable to move this drawing to another directory because it's actually open in AutoCAD right now. So I'm going to go ahead and close Windows Explorer to return back to AutoCAD. The final type of save I would like to discuss is the automatic save or autosave. First of all, let me show you where it's at in the options dialog box again. So I'll right click on my screen and go to options. Once more back on the open and save tab, we're looking at the automatic save location here. Notice that by default it's set to go 10 minutes between saves. So the idea with this is, what happens if the power goes out and you never had a chance to save? Well, with automatic save, it will make a new automatic save every 10 minutes by default. So at most, hopefully you will not lose more than 10 minutes of work. Now you can adjust this number. Earlier versions of AutoCAD were set all the way up to 120 minutes, which is amazing because if you forget to save, you'd be losing up to 2 hours worth of work. So we definitely don't want it to be that high. You don't really want it to be 1 minute either, because what happens is it's going to keep popping up in your command line and it can get kind of annoying and actually conflict with some of the work that you're trying to do if you have it popping up every minute. So 10 minutes I think is a good number so that we're getting our automatic saves and we're not going to lose too much information if we have a power outage or if the computer crashes. So to show you where the automatic save is going, I'm just going to pop into another drawing that I've been working in. I have this Edition A opened, and every 10 minutes that you're in a drawing, it will do an automatic save as long as something has changed. So I'm going to press the F2 key to bring up my AutoCAD text window, and I can actually see in here where it actually saved to. So it's actually kind of a lengthy path, but I'm going to browse to that path using my computer, which I've already done, so I could jump straight to this folder. Again, here's the same lengthy path that we were just given. And then I can see these files here that have an $$ extension. These are my automatic saves. So I was looking at the drawing called Edition A. Here I can see the automatic save for Edition A. Very similar to the backup copies, if I want to recover one of these, all I have to do is right-click and rename, replace the SV $ with a DWG and press enter, and I have now recovered an automatic save from no more than 10 minutes ago, and I can just simply open it straight from here. And again, hopefully I have saved myself some trouble. Now, typically, if it is because of an AutoCAD crash that you lost something, the next time you open up AutoCAD, it will actually create a recovery panel over here on the left side of the screen, and you'll be given the option to recover the backup copy or to recover the automatic save. And the last thing I want to talk about are a couple of strategies for switching between multiple drawings. In AutoCAD 2014, we were given these sheet tabs at the tops of our screens. So I can now very easily switch between open drawings just by clicking on the names of the drawings. If you hover over any of these tabs, it'll actually give you the possibility of going to the model space or the paper space layouts for those particular ones. We're dealing with model space only right now, so we'll talk about paper space much later in the class. But again, you can just simply click on a tab to jump to each individual drawing. A keyboard shortcut that you can use that I enjoy quite a bit is Control-Tab. If you hold the Control key and then tap the Tab key, you can cycle through open drawings. I use this one a lot. It's much quicker, in my opinion, to switch between open drawings than it is to click on the buttons. Finally, if you want to close any individual drawings, you can just simply click the X next to the name on the sheet tab. Again, remember that the star means something has changed. I might need to save this file before I do so. So if I want to close my bank proposed, I can close it, and I'm just going to say no to save changes. I don't really want to save anything that I did there. That was just for practice. So again, as you can see, open and save, not quite a simple concept. There's multiple different types of saves to wrap your head around. And hopefully you now have a good feel for each of them.